I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Good morning, Reggae Boyz fans. Here and around the world. This is Katarock, the oligarch, sitting in for Manning's man. Wait to go, Andre. When you go and load up the thing, 1122, remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm having my breakfast here in the Windy City that they call Chicago, or the Chicago that they call the Windy City. So for the first part, man, I have my French toast. Yeah, man. Giving thanks for life. Giving a blessings to all the Jamaicans, yard and broad. Whether you're on the rock or you're there foreign, one Jamaica, big up the eye themselves. Just making it loading. Today, it will be Katarock versus Andre. The weekend fixtures from Group A have been completed. The first round, Jamaica drawing with the Nations League champions and hot favorites. The United States won on Saturday night in Chicago, and I heard by the grapevine that their Trinidad and Tobago Soca Warriors have gotten the better of St. Kitts and Nevis. So Andre should be joining me in about 20 minutes. He should be feeling his icy dicey, all up. So that should make for good conversation. What is happening in the world of football? We're going to bread back it down the weekend's fixtures, and then we are going to start the countdown to St. Louis, Missouri, City Park Stadium, where the Reggae Boyz shall dirt and dash Wap and Zap, the Soca Warriors, who are sitting on top of the group. Like, surprise, surprise. Yeah, man, like the video, share up the video, do all of those things. Let me see who check in already. I'm just learning this because let me see who check in the morning here. So and Ricardo Baggio, check in. You hear that Trinidad a sweat? They need to more than sweat, brother. Ari from Morris, check in from Shirley. Kirk YYZ, check in from Shirley. John Powell, check in from Shirley. Sending a big up to Manningsman. Manningsman is already in St. Louis. And he won't be around even to comment on the stream because they are in transito. Going to, I think, the first training session there. So big up John Powell. Rob Smith. How is Gada on the US staff, but never considered for any Jamaican jobs? I don't know the details, Rob Smith, so hopefully you can fill us in. Need some fried pork and chocolate tea. French toast bread over there. I think the float management. Big up the damn self. That may I say, big up the self. 39. But people, let me tell you, it is not Manning's man, the Pastor 6 running the program. It is Katarock. So don't ramp with the likes. Don't ramp with the subscribe thing. Thank you to the 5,980 subscribers. You know what I mean? Oh, you hear some me a sweat? I want to record about you, brother. Ricardo, how are you doing that morning, dog? No, man. On a sweat. Then we're gonna really try to be respectful in our commentary. Be honest and fair. Having my fresh pressed orange juice, just understanding the thing. 39 over there. So let's share up the one, share up the live, like up the live. Yeah, man. So first I want to reflect on, from a fan's perspective, what happens at a game like this. Now on Saturday night, what took place in Soldier Field, Chicago, I'm telling you, is nothing short of a miracle. Of the story of Spartan, the movie Spartan, where 300 stood tall, possibly more than 300, but in our little section, stood tall against the might of 36,000 passionate United States fans. And I want to begin the journey of this morning's conversation, and I have to check out in 2 hours exactly to be able to begin making my flight and check out and thing. You know what I mean? The car park, the Waldorf car park, section D4, where the fans of Sam's Army, the red, white, and blue, gathered. But Jamaicans stay back of the class, dance and on a subject, round the back of the car park, round the back part where Jamaica when I like the front page. The yard man them set up, man. And I want to share with the viewers and the subscribers just inkling. Any man with it did it, just drop your comments if you were there. How Jamaicans, the best of us and the worst of us. Yeah, I'm a brother where I cook, some callaloo rice and escovitch fish with the onion and the pepper and the carrot them, and jerk chicken. And you just take up a plate. Join the line, just take up a plate. Some yard man take up 2 plate like me. Take up 2 plate. And you weren't asked any questions. You weren't asked, where you born, Jamaica or England or America? You weren't asked which part of Jamaica you come from. Westmoreland, St. Ann, Kingston, Mobile, Ochi. You weren't asked that. You weren't asked, you're PNP, I am labor. You're showerman, I am comrade. You weren't asked that. The only thing you had to have on was the black or the gold, the yellow or the green. I had man thing, pot spoon full up of rice. Only thing we never said too much. We never said a dumpling. Chicago people, we never said a dumpling. But the jerk chicken, nice like any jerk chicken at Jamaica. Trust me. And you walking past, if your cup empty, you could have stopped at any vehicle where have yard man and just say, beg you some ice, don't beg you some juice. There's no white rum. So I don't know how that works, but I couldn't fly because I was flying a connecting flight, so I didn't check on luggage, so I couldn't. But, there were no, it was just one big family. One big family. One Jamaica. No, and this, I'm giving you a build up to the game. This is prior to the game in the Waldorf parking lot, upper deck, B4, back of the class, beer yard. Big up to the girl gang, the twin them, Smokey Jane and her sister. You did half a fine to Jamaica and dash out. Them just a dash out and beer sitting, go up on their head and some music I play. And that was the vibe. That was the build-up of the vibe. But interestingly, when you passed a lot of Uncle Sam supporters, you could hear the Shaggy, you could hear the Tanto Metro and Devante, you could hear some Elephant Man being played. A couple of them are play Bob, but everybody did not play reggae music. All the American them. A lot of the supporters are from Latinca. That much I know. A lot of the Spanish-speaking Americans were there throwing their support. Big up so Chicago. Boy, Chicago nice, but brother, they rob me with the parking, brother. $100 for parking, $70 for parking. Yo, it's mad out here. So man just park the Lamborghini and just I take the Uber. But the vibes of one love, that message of one love was alive and well amongst Jamaicans. Nobody never broke no fight. Man have then load the table. Cause say have little gambling. Man have then domino table. One and feel 6 love. After drop. Man have a little card game and go on. And they don't know you just go and man start throw the dice and they load it. Only thing we never have no 3 card, man. We never did have no crown and anchor. So we have to check on that. We never did have no crown and anchor. But it was just a Jamaican vibe. As I said, I don't know if I repeated the girl gang, them Smokey Jane and her sister and her friend, them about 3-4 girl boy there. You know what I mean? And it was amazing in the car park. The game was delayed. We weren't given any reason for the delay of the game. Big up some man. Big up AQ. The man that kept the Jamaican time. You know, because some Jamaicans just have to reach late. Big up AQ and the family float management. You see the deb out here. Fabi. The deb out there. Neo Sovereign. Kyle. Because me and Kyle link up from in the day. Me and Kyle link up from morning, from Shirley. We are do road. And I know you've had a lot of other streams, a lot of other vloggers giving you a perspective and man a cost Bailey and man a this and that and rate. But I just want to ride with me from a different perspective of an ultra, of a fan. And the countdown came, and later on I'll go back to when we, reach in and early morning go link up at the team hotel. And so let me reverse the gear. So my brother in Kyle's Reggae Boyz Supporters Club, called me up and said, boy, I can't check in till 3-4 o'clock. Or you stay. I said, forward now. My flight reach, I think about 2 o'clock in the night, 6 hours delay. This is after flying from Kingston. And why is all of this important? It's important to understand what it takes to support this team and the camaraderie and the friendships that were formed by men who had never met each other, most of us. So me and guys started, we go eat the breakfast around one place, around part, Wild Berries, you know what I mean? And then we forward by the team hotel, and Kemar Lawrence, Taxi Lawrence was the first player we saw. Glad to be here, veteran. Said, boy, ready to give my best. Took some pictures and we in the lobby. Met Opal, a Jamaican young lady who flew in from Florida and was staying at a team hotel, hadn't met anybody. And then I had my first encounter with John Russell and Deshaun Bernard. Humble youth them, take some selfie and, I give them my words, as the ultra, as the man. And they are sure that if they touch the field, they will understand what it means. What it means to be a reggae boy. Wish them the very best. And they went off to, get their things. Then we see Coach Grimm. Coach Grimm checking with the ultra. Maximum respect to Coach Al Grimson. Every time you see the ultra boss, the oligarch, can't tell them the reasoning, but we have a little reasoning, and the coach is a real youth. The coach is a real youth, brother. Real. For those who have never met Coach Al Grimson, real. And me and him all, a 3 minute, people were trying to hurry him along and the man was like, no, this is the ultras. You give me a moment. And yeah, some little guy. The respect between the ultra and the coach is different. No matter how hurry up the coach when the coach attack. The coach just put them on pause. Remember like when the time when them I tell the coach one more question, the coach was like, no. Man, I said, yeah, come. Coach was like, I'm with the ultras. We went wrong one part, wrong on the side part, and he shared with me. Most confidential. But the coach, believe me, it was a big moment for him. And I think he took it as important as qualifying Iceland for a Euros, He understood the gravement of the situation. He understood where we were coming from. Little nervous, and I'm just say, coach, don't worry, man. And the man them, the thing them when the man them I say, brother, me have my thing, because when I beat, I feel for beat, but some man I got some outrageous settings, brother. Some outrageous settings, like, and a sense that. And the worst part about it is the man them I make some outrageous thing. We not see them on no match. They not pen dollar come clap my side. They not stand up and look up in the Uncle Sam supporter them face and turn up to them. But they've got the most to say with the least. I'm going to get to them. And what I can assure the coach that win, lose, or draw, we are Reggae Boyz, and him gave me something. Lose no I talk. So any man around here, so if you now say winnings for Jamaica, I better not say nothing. If you now say winnings for Jamaica, I better no say nothing. Because it's a positive vibration and a positive energy. Then we book Mikhail the General. Big up Fresh God. Fresh God land in that place, you understand. Support the Zell thing. Fresh God, I give you the reminder them. You know, the Ed Wrenchman. Michael Antonio came ready, wanting the golden boot, wanting to stamp his mark on the thing, and the man just take selfie with everybody. You can't believe that this brother you just win and lift the European Conference League trophy. The man just real and no rush. Every fans were gathering at the lobby, one by one. Michael Antonio take for as long as it took, and they could have taken, I think, about 15, 20 minutes for every man get them selfie, every woman get them selfie, the hotel staff. He was no rush, no superstar thing, right? Again, I get the best. And then my encounter with the new boy on the thing. Brother, move and go. But man and rocks. Uno and rocks. Uno and some rocks. Good. And I was taking a selfie with Amari Bell. I know Amari Bell from last Gold Cup, and me and him talk and thing, and me I take a selfie with Amari Bell and you congratulate him on qualifying. Humble youth, quiet youth, you know what I mean? And big man, me see a man turn up in that background at the thing, and a man says, so, you don't want to take a selfie with me? Can I take a selfie with you? And when I look around, I said, am I all right? He said, yeah, I'm here, my blood. I'm here. The man, the Mary Gray of Everton, asked me to take a photo with me. That level of humility. People, that's why I said to you, we don't have to come and match them, we don't have to interact with our players. And you know what I mean? You know what it takes. And I'm here waiting on my good friend from Trinidad who probably is beating a steel pan somewhere and lost track of time. Damari Gray, first of all, in photobomb, my selfie with Amari Bell. Then he asked me to take a selfie. Said what? Like, you play for Everton. You have won the Premier League with Leicester. And you were still so humble to want to interact with the fan for your own records. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. And I'm going to share with you what I shared with him. I said, brethren, and both him and Michael and Tony were then talking. I said, you see this derby, so we call this the Visa derby. Me say, you see the first goal we're going to score, after every man we get deported. The first going to score, after every man we get dip. Damari Gray. You see the second goal where you score, after every man and woman go out of the visa line and get turned down for the visa. I'm going to see third goal when I score, I just throw in a bad mind. I want to beat Uncle Sam. Welcome, Andre, but I'm going to allow him to just give me a minute. He finish.
Go ahead. Have all the time you need.
Um,
Have all the time you need.
that is the man with the pan. When the hammer gone. So I want to say this. So we say, yeah, man, you have to do this for every man who get turned down for your visa, man. Every man will stand up in that long line there out of New Kingston and up I think that, and when they get back, no visa, no day, no anything. You have to do this for every man and woman who get deep, come back a yard. This is more than football. And the more I agree, sir, I will do it. Didn't score a goal, but he got an assist. I've been talking for a while. I'm going to welcome my co-host today, Andre. We're going to keep the show tight because we have to chop out at 2 hours. You know what I mean? Andre.
Yes, sir.
I understand that something happened over the weekend.
How are you doing this morning? Have you recovered?
And you are in an unfamiliar position. The Soca Warriors.
well, maybe
Soca Warriors are in an unfamiliar position. No, we have no update on Ethan Pinnock. Anytime Rupert ready, Rupert forward. Anytime your wife good and your picnic good, Rupert, you're forward. Till such time, we are hold it down for you. Yeah, man. I'm hoping to see Rupert on Wednesday, but if not, I think he'll be ready for the California games or at worst, the knockout. So 90 people on this. Kyle Wallace, big up yourself. Me and them, man, they do the whole road in Chicago. But as I said, I spoke for 28 minutes. Over to my good friend Andre.
How you doing, Katarock?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
You know, I was paying attention last night. I was trying to make sure that you're okay. And last night, I think you were in recovery mode. I think you're in good shape. We haven't had a conversation since the Jamaica game. What were your thoughts? I was trying to get you on because I was on with Cronky, and was trying to he called Omar. He was trying to get a word from you, but we weren't able to get you. So what are your thoughts about the Jamaica game?
Well, clearly you don't know me. The Chicago ladies are most hospitable. Big up the Chi-Town ladies. Big up the Chi-Town ladies. So you can't find me at them time, man. The Katarock girl is.
Easy.
You didn't come on early. You didn't come on early enough to see. You know what I mean?
So look, there was great anticipation towards that game. I know there's been a lot of conversations already, and I see you had some conversations about it last night.
Yes.
I'm sure we know it didn't end. You had a good chance to walk away with 3 points and miss that opportunity, and now you're faced with what? Let me ask you this: is the Jamaican fan base nervous about the upcoming game?
Nervous?
Yeah, I don't know. I was listening to a conversation this morning. And
yes, I'm very nervous about the Gold Cup finals in which Jamaica will win and seeing the United States again. I'm absolutely nervous about that.
So let's start here. What's your prediction of the game Wednesday? What's your prediction? Let's start here.
No, we don't reach that. We don't reach that part there. We are breaking down the weekend. We don't reach that part there. But as usual, my prediction is we will whop them and zap them.
Okay. I wanted to get you on record with that. I wanted to get
whop
you on
and zap.
Eh?
Beat and teach.
Beat and teach. You're the beat and teach man too. Look, your team in the first half, I thought was good. I think, my opinion, after you scored the first goal, the next 4 minutes was frightening. I started to think if Jamaica could play like this for a longer period of time, that they would run away with the game. But then it lasted for about, from I think around the 13 to the 18 minutes, about 5 minutes, 4 minutes and something. And then we didn't get to see that again. I think the passing was crisp, the movement of the ball, it looked like you had it looked like the team that was on paper, if you understand what I'm saying. The team looked good. The team looked a little bit scary. And then in the second half, it kind of just didn't happen. I don't know if you see it that way.
I would suggest that you stop watching football on a transistor radio because I don't know what game. And I'm waiting for Cronky because last night on the coaches desk, I don't know where they took it. So let me tell you this. People, let's put this in the facts, and then I'm going to read some comments and allow Andre some more time because I've had a good
Are you
run
sure
at
you're in
it.
Chicago?
I'm in Chi-Town.
Your internet is buffering a little bit.
My internet is buffering.
Sometimes. It's good now. It's good now.
It's a lot of tall buildings in Chicago. The internet. People, let me know if you can hear me properly. Shamar Hall. You can be stuck on 3 points. You can be stuck on 3 points. Good. So let me say this. The context of the game is that Jamaica, who did not qualify for World Cup 2022, coming off the back of 2 or 3 humiliating defeats, 1 to Trinidad and Tobago, 1 to Qatar 2-1, 1 to Jordan 2-1, entered into the Lions' Den. This is a home game for the United States against the Reggae Boyz. Now, anybody that was expecting the Reggae Boyz to come and dominate doesn't know football. The away team has a responsibility to try to see out the game and get a positive result. We're the away team. What you wanted us to play some football like our head in a good.
Look, at the end of the day,
let me just give me 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds. And I want to say this. The course of history and this game are about moments. And that moment happened in the 28th minute. Because had that penalty been scored by Leon Bailey, or the even more ridiculous, easy follow-up tapping, the whole complexion of the game would have changed. I believe United States would have been on the end of 3 or 4 because they would have had to open up themselves, play more expansively, trying to get back in the game, leaving room for the speed of, I don't even know if Bobby Reid so fast. Bobby Reid, Demarai Gray, Leon Bailey, Michael Antonio. That would have changed the whole complexion of it. Thank you to the 96 in there.
Right,
and
so
you would have been having a different.
Hold on a minute. So hold on a minute. You're now functioning in the world of hypothetical, right? You're saying what could have happened, what may have happened. Let's look at the reality. The reality is you were leading 1-0. A penalty was missed. That happens, right? That happens, and you couldn't go on from there to take control of the game and get 3 points, and that's okay. But let me ask you this, and I would like to see you. I'd like to see it because it's very important. You see, communication is only 10% verbal. That's okay. You can listen for the time being. Let me finish, and you get your chance. So
the Chicago ladies are taking.
That's okay. I understand that. So let's look at the reality. You had there's a lot of investment that's gone into getting the best players to represent Jamaica. So you started the game, and correct me if I'm wrong, with 6 players that play in the English Premier League. Is that correct?
1 is coming into the Premier League in Amari Bell.
Right. So 5 and 1 coming in, and I think the US started with 8 players.
No, sir, please.
Hold on.
One is in England taking care of his wife That's Ethan Pinnock, the Man Mountain, aka Rupert. So we had Mikel Antonio, Bobby Reed, Leon Bailey, and Amari Bell to come in. So we only
how many started the game with?
3.
3. All right, and you have 6.
Yes.
You have access to 6. And you started with 8 players that play in the MLS. And one would think when you listen to some of the conversations that it should have been a foregone conclusion, right?
No, wouldn't be a foregone conclusion. We started with 1 USL player. How many USL players did the United States start with?
Well, I mean, that is not the fact of the matter is that on paper, we know that it's the best squad in the competition. Is that correct? Do you agree with that?
We're the best team in the world.
I try to have a serious conversation with you. I know you don't believe that, right? But you do have a very good team. You do have a very good team. I'm not gonna argue that. But you didn't get 3 points in a game that you should have.
Fresh God, which 4 EPL players started? Oh, Dexter Lembekisi, but he's okay.
No, you see,
he's an academy player.
But that's important. But
he's an academy player who is at a Premier League club. So thank you for the correction. I accept that. I didn't remember Dexter.
I was wondering. You had me second guessing myself for a minute, right? But I think you have a team that you should have been on 3 points. So you have a game coming up, and I sense that there's a lot of discomfort. Let's put it that way. In the public, I heard somebody suggesting that it's a must-win game. That if you don't win, that you're out of the Gold Cup. Which I think, potentially that is true, but I don't think that that's 100% true. But I also see a lot of people are dismissing the Trinidad and Tobago team. Could you explain to me why you think that the Jamaican fans are dismissing this team?
Because Trinidad not good.
Did you see the quality of the goals yesterday? Especially the first 2 goals?
Watch the game.
You didn't watch the game?
That is how concerned I am with Trinidad.
So you're not getting into disrespectful territory. You didn't watch the game.
Me in Chicago.
Okay, all right.
And
okay.
the Shy Town, as they're called, Southside ladies, most welcoming. So I'm enjoying the northern hospitality. Why would I go and watch Trinidad?
Well, it was on television.
When I'm doing these things, the TV tends to be off. Now, I wanted to hear from you about your team in the game and what you thought.
Yeah, I mean, Fresh Guy said it looked like it's on your end because we are here in Katarock good and seeing him properly. What is the problem you have with mine? Because are you not hearing me properly?
I'm hearing you properly.
Yeah, okay.
It seems like it will be the same problem that you will have on Wednesday. You will be buffering.
Look, Trinidad game, there was a lot of rain before the game, just maybe an hour before the game. The rain came down really heavy, lightning. The game was delayed, and the pitch was waterlogged. They did a good job of clearing the pitch up, but there was still some water left when the game started, so the ball wasn't flowing as I think both teams would have preferred. So they needed to adapt. So the first half of the game was a little bit challenging because of the surface and the weather condition, or whatever the case may be. By halftime, the pitch had dried up. Trinidad took the lead just before the half, I think just before halftime, maybe a couple of minutes before halftime. And the second half, the pitch was much drier. And Trinidad was able to keep the ball a little bit more and move the ball around and and score a couple more goals. I think that game, you play in these tournaments sometimes, whether it's at the youth level or at the senior level, you go to these tournaments and a lot of times your first game could be a little bit shaky. I mean, in the Jamaica, we know that Jamaica could perform much better than we saw in the first game. We know the USA could perform much better. So that happens a lot, right? Mexico shared 4 last night against a Honduras team that's probably going to give anybody in the region problems. So I would expect Trinidad to improve and be better in the second game. I'm going to leave the predictions to you. I'm going to leave the predictions to you because, and I'm hoping that you are consistent with your prediction. I hope you predict that we get 7 or 8. That seems to work in our favor. So, and I'm disappointed that you did not watch the game because there was some good bright spots in the game, and I'm disappointed you didn't watch the game.
Okay. So here's the thing, Andre. I'm going to respond to you. I have great respect for you and your footballing acumen. So Triple E, let me see. Yes, I claim many other teams no good. That's my right as a fan. And your description of us as fantasy fans, I'd like you to explain. Because they were real fans like myself in that stadium in Shoulder Field, staring down 36,000 United States fans. So please do not be disrespectful to those of us who stood.
But the game was on the field, though. The
game was on and off that field. On and off that field. History will show that about 600, less than 1,000 Jamaican fans quieted Sam's Army in the United States, along with the performance of our team on the field, who held on heroically until the last 2 minutes of regular time. So I don't want people to act as if my team was battered and barely got a flips goal to get a draw. No, we scored first. We missed the opportunity to extend our lead. We held our own and ourselves through the heroics of our goalkeeper and captain Andre Blake, through a rear guard defensive action.
Can I interrupt you for a minute? I want to give you a chance. Hold on. Can I interrupt you for a minute? I want to give you a chance to make sure that you understand what I'm hearing. Okay, the language that you're using, you're saying we held on, right? It seems to be the language of someone who understands that the team is inferior to the opponent. Is that what you intend to suggest? Because you're saying you held on, you took the lead and you held on most of the game. Is the Jamaican national team in this moment an inferior team in this tournament to anybody in the group?
The United States are the Nations League champions in this region.
Okay.
The United States was playing at home in a far-flung city as north as you can get. Everything was in their advantage, including a referee who this morning is probably at ICE picking up his green card for an absolutely atrocious and biased display. So we played against the United States. We played against a referee who in the first few minutes issued a yellow card, no warning, no talking to our key central defender, which would have changed the way that Damien Lowe rushes into some tackles. But
some people are surprised.
A card for 30 seconds, having the ball for 30 seconds.
Listen to me.
Talk about the referee decision.
Some people suggested that it should have been a red.
You have a thing called a time in the game. And I'm saying to you, doesn't the referee sometimes warn players, say, down, okay, this one and no more the next time. That's what I've seen. But the fact that
But it depends. It depends on the quality of the tackle. If the tackle seems to be outside of the rules of the game, in that moment, it doesn't matter the moment of the game. You have to deal with it, because a tackle that looks like it can intentionally hurt someone, right, and may produce a long-term injury, I think the referee needs to step in. And I think some people believe that's what they saw.
okay,
So
hold on,
he might have been
the tackle,
fortunate in the game. He scored a great
the
goal.
tack,
He scored a very good goal to give you the lead. So I don't know how much the yellow card affected him.
it did, because at certain times when he should have tackled, he tried to he wasn't as robust in some of his tackling. But I want to ask you this,
Uh-huh.
and you are correct. You are correct about the referees having to protect players from injury. So doesn't that same protection should be afforded to Leon Bailey, who was wiped out
The same
and
protection.
left lying on the floor?
Let me tell you
Was
this.
that
This
same
is my
protection
position.
should be afforded to Damari Gray, who was wiped out? I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, and I'm going to answer you. My position is that anybody, and this is not specific to Jamaica or anybody. This is about football. Anybody who, these players play football for a living, right? That's
Yes,
what they
sir.
do. And if they're hurt, they cannot play football. So anybody who is attempting, if it appears as though your intention is to hurt somebody, in any way that could cause them their career, or I think it needs to be dealt with. And I think the players with a little bit more quality, yes, you have to protect them. But I don't know if you could point to a moment where you could justify suggesting that Leon Bailey or anybody else was not being protected. Gray, Antonio.
No,
Do you have a moment?
there were some serious challenges that were not even needed in the game. One was some people are giving us the recap of it. Gray was rugby tackled.
Cronky don't think it was a foul. I mean,
no, it was a 50-50 challenge. A hard 50-50 challenge. Big up to the 121 viewers.
But what's interesting is, I would say to you that I don't think that it affected Lowe in the way in which you're suggesting, because the goal didn't come from Lowe not being able to do the job. I think if you look at the game, a lot of the US chances came down the left side, which is your right side. Would you agree with that?
Yes, they targeted young Dexter Lemekisi, and so they clearly did their homework, saw that this was an academy player. But for the most part, Dexter rose to the occasion.
But the goal came from an error, the inability to clear the ball in that situation. So I don't think Lowe was affected. I think, Cronky don't think it was a foul.
So you saw the game, right?
Yeah, I watched the game. I'm not disrespect Jamaica like you disrespect Trinidad. Yes, I did watch the game. I watched the entire game. I made sure I was available to watch the game, because I want Jamaica to do well, just not at our expense.
So I'm gonna study. Is Brian Lara really the greatest batsman? Is he better than Lawrence Rowe?
Yeah, let the runs
really an instrument.
Let the runs speak for themselves.
So Dwight Spence, and I want to ask you about that particular one. When the last man tackled broke the counter attack with a tackle on Bobby Reed, wasn't that a straight red card for preventing a clear goal scoring opportunity, and you were the last man? There was also a handball in the second half that the referee pretended didn't happen. And I don't go back. I just wanted to say to the context that we were playing against the 11 men of the United States plus the referee at a full stadium. But I'm interested to hear you wax on eloquently about the Trinidad game. And then we will get into...
No, Jason here is asking if because Cronky said I'm not suggesting that he's right. I believe it. I believe that he needed a caution. Some people believe it should have been a red. I don't know. It would have affected the game negatively. The referee gave a yellow, and I thought that Lowe handled the rest of the game well. He played for 90 minutes. He was solid. The two center backs were solid. So I don't agree that it affected his ability to performance. It could have, but it didn't. Because I didn't see him. I thought my opinion is that he had a good game, and I'm sure most Jamaicans believe that as well. Neo is suggesting that I have a sword in the fire, and that might be true, Neo. Look, the Trinidad game, Trinidad performance, Trinidad have to take this performance and build on it. Was it the best performance? I think the team could be better. I think the team could perform much better. I think they have the ability to do so. You know, speaking to someone yesterday, and they were suggesting that maybe moving some pieces around in the front position, maybe Levi out wide, and but the team, when you take the conditions into account, the conditions did affect. One would think because it does, right? It's 3:30 in the day. It's very hot. And then you have the field that is full of water that's stopping the ball in the middle of the pitch. So it did affect the game. But I think the boys they played together, they stayed together. St. Kitts and Nevis is no walkover. So I would caution you and the Jamaican fans not to look at them in that way. I think they have players that's playing in other parts of the world as well. And I think yesterday they decided to sit in a little bit and try to keep the game as close as possible and then have a go at it, because at 1-0 coming back out the half, they did threaten a little bit. So, but the boys stuck together, and then the coach made a substitution that he was rewarded for making, and the score went to 2, and I think the game was dominated from there. The pitch, of course, was dry after that, but I think that this team could perform better. He has a good group of players. He has a good, most of them is playing somewhere. So they're fit. They're getting around the pitch. They're working hard. They seem to have a togetherness. When you look at them, they seem to have a togetherness within the group. So I believe that they have more to offer. I believe they have more to offer starting on Wednesday night.
So let me understand this. Trinidad and Tobago, an island in the southern hemisphere of the Caribbean Sea, closer to the equator than Jamaica, is complaining that 3:20 in North Carolina was hot.
No, the game was actually in Florida. The game was in Florida.
Oh, the game was in Florida.
The game was in Florida.
The game was in Florida. So that's your story, and you're sticking to it.
No.
It was hot.
Let me.
It was hot.
It is very.
The rain fell.
It's very hot in Florida. It is very hot.
But it didn't snow. The rain fell, and it was hot. Two things that happened in Trinidad and Tobago with great regularity. But that's your story, and you're sticking to it. And all of a sudden, St. Kitts is this football superpower rather than a small collection of islands with a population.
So let me ask you this. Earlier in the program, when you started to discuss that you were playing, that Jamaica was playing away from home, why does that matter?
As I pointed out, the fan base of the home team. So we were the away team.
Right.
Fret not, my friend.
So are you suggesting that could affect the game?
Of course,
Okay.
home teams have an advantage. That's why it's called a home field advantage.
Right. So
home field advantage.
Right. So can the weather affect the game?
That's what I'm saying. I think Dwight Spence, and we have to be circumspect who we can let on the stream because it's a very tight stream we're running here. Let me get to this thing, So can you put the link so that Dwight can come on?
Or Dwight is asking to come on.
And if Neo, right? But I want to ask you about the support. How many people were in the stand in Fort Lauderdale?
That's a good question. I didn't see a number, but it
Did you
could have.
see any fans?
Yeah, there were lots of fans there.
There were what?
There were lots. There were fans there.
Lots.
No, there were fans there. There was not the numbers that existed in your game, right? And if I think somebody suggested there were 33,000 supporters at that game.
No, it was 36,600.
And you said 600. How many were Jamaicans?
I would say about 1,000.
Yeah. So most was for the American team. So you would have had less than us if you won't play in America.
Dwight Spence, do you know what 5,000 people looks like? I put it to you that I'm going to watch the game, and I'm going to put it to you that there were more people at Igloo or Sands, like a regular dance where we keep at Jamaica. There would have been more people there. Best of the best. I'm just saying. But Wednesday's coming. So you're saying that you're feeling your icy. You're feeling tough. Yeah, tough up yourself, Andre. You're at the top of the table.
No, I look, it's a good place to be, but what matters is where you are at the end of 3 games, right? So the job is to try to stay at the top of the table. And it's a difficult one because the next game is against a very good Jamaican team. And we have a job to do. But football is not played on paper, right? It's played on the pitch. And Trinidad coach has the responsibility to put out a team with a game model that could get him a result in the game.
And so we're into the footballing now. What game model is that you think there will be?
I would be I don't know what it is. I don't have any inside information, but I think the job would be to neutralize Leon Bailey, Gray, Antonio. Is either you stop them from doing what they can do or stop the service into them, right? To make the game difficult, to make it impossible for them to influence the game. So however he's going to do that, that's up to him. That's his job. That's why he's getting paid for it and not me or you, right? But football, we've seen many times in football matches, the team with the better quality, with the numbers, sometimes doesn't guarantee that you're going to come out on top, right? We have seen City lose. We have seen Barca lose at times. We've seen a lot of really good teams. We've seen Brazil lose. Brazil just lost 4-2 recently in an international match. So it does happen. And we would be the underdog in that game. We'd be the underdog in that game. So we have a job to do. Did you see any highlights from the game?
You're a walking contradiction.
Why? Why is that? I'm not contradicting. How am I contradicting myself?
You're a walking contradiction.
In what way? You
So
you
all
walk
of
in.
a sudden now you playing the victim, like we're the underdog. Oh, please
But
don't beat us too badly, Mr. Big Man.
no. I'm not saying that. Please don't beat us.
Before that, you were like, oh, we have our 3 points already. We're on the top
But
of the
yeah,
table.
but that's reality. You can't
Great,
argue against that. That's reality.
scored great goals.
Yeah. We did score 2 very good goals yesterday.
Flavor Max TV going to this game, I think it's 50. Are you nuts? Listen, we're on the hour mark. So let me just say this. Point blank and upfront. Trinidad are going to get shell down. Shell down. Shell down. You will not know what hit you on Wednesday. I am telling you, brother. Just know this. So the bagger man them will eat breadfruit and coward, and some man will want to keep themselves like, oh, it's gonna be a draw. Oh, it's 50-50. Oh my lord. Don't this is Trinidad. Oh Lord. Enough for to say that because they want to come back by the next stream and say, oh, well, remember I predicted that it was going to be a draw. I'm telling you this, they are going to get shell down. Shell out, shell down.
Who do you say was
And
asking
then
for the link?
after we beat and soften you up, you will go to the United States and then you will understand what it's like to play against the USA in the USA and then tell me that there's nothing called like home field advantage.
No, I'm not saying that. Did you say that Dwight Spence? What did you say to share the link?
Yes, share the link to Dwight, but everybody don't click link. We're not letting everybody. This is a personal thing against. This is the big man them a reason. So I've said it. You're going to get.
So hold on a minute, right? So you have said it. You have said it. I have not suggested. I'm not suggesting or didn't suggest that there's not a home field advantage. But guess what? The tournament, the Gold Cup, is being held in the United States. Right?
Make sure you're muted, Dwight, when you come on, so that
the Gold Cup is being hosted in the United States. So anywhere the US played, that would be the feeling that they're at home, right? When they play Mexico, sometimes they probably would tell you they don't feel at home because Mexico might have more support in the stands. So that's just something that we all have to overcome. Just like we overcame the weather yesterday. I was just pointing out that that was the condition, and we overcame it. We scored 3 goals and we got 3 points. And when we look, what issues besides the fan base? What issues did you have at your game on Sunday? What else affected your game? You had great weather. It was played later at night. It was played a day earlier. Going into the game on Wednesday, you would have a day extra on us. What else do you have? I think your wounds were self-inflicted, right?
No, and I'm gonna welcome Dwight to come on, but
Dwight, how you doing?
Dwight, I'm warning you. Let me just say, I'm Dwight. I'm warning you before I come. Any man will come on this street and I said Jamaica, but dirt and dash with Trinidad, I shall remove you. I am not a pastor. I don't rank like that. I'm not here to have a civilized conversation.
White was on last week and he was good.
Right? I don't think you forget. I said it that they were going to get 7. And I'm saying no, they're going to get shut out.
You're not saying it again, though. You're not
I
saying
told
it again.
people who were telling us that, Jamaica team not prepared and the United States going to dog walk Jamaica and United States are going to do this and that and that. I remember you folks. And like Bushman, I put a fire upon a weak card. Dwight, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dwight.
Hopefully you're safe and sound in Chicago, Katarock. Your support at the matches are very much appreciated. Katarock, turn your camera slightly towards the window just for your own.
Please. Yeah, please do.
Turn your camera slightly towards the window. Yeah, perfect.
Again.
A little bit more.
A little bit again.
Little bit more.
Yeah, that's good.
There you go.
That's good.
All right. So, So Katarock, Trinidad, definitely. So St. Kitts is lower end team. Trinidad did play in a very wet water. Key is waterlogged. It wasn't just raining; it was waterlogged pitch for the first half. Really didn't gain any continuity in their attack until late first half, second half. So they played well. That young 19-year-old, number 20, Avri, Kylie Avri, correct me on the pronunciation.
Yes. Aubrey,
he's good.
Aubrey.
Yeah, he plays for Kansas City. He's a dangerous footballer. Has a good upside. Molino played well for a player that's coming off injury, that's finally got his legs back underneath him. Not too bad. I will say this, expecting a Jamaica 3-1 victory without a question of a doubt.
Say it again.
Please mute your mic when you join.
mute your mic,
Please mute
please?
your mic when you join.
1 second.
Richie, could you mute your mic, please?
Oh, it's me. Sorry. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, thanks.
So expecting Jamaica to win 3-1, our quality in connecting passes in our midfielder and our back line is obviously much better than St. Kitts. We do need to stay focused in terms of not wasting chances, because that becomes a psychological game if we start missing early chances in the game. My concern with Jamaica is continued cohesion. Obviously, the team is training today and training yesterday, and they'll have some video to look over. So I expect a more cohesive unit. One concern is I think the game is being played at 4:30 local time in St. Louis. Temperatures are expected to be in the high 80s. A word of advice to Hall Grimson: he might want to rest some of our players that have a little bit of tightness, or that. So there's no reason to start Bell or Antonio against Trinidad. That doesn't make any sense. No.
Hold on now, Dwight. Hold on, Dwight. Why would you suggest that?
Bell and Antonio ran heavily for 70 plus minutes. Bell broke down after 70 minutes. Do not start him against Trinidad. We have depth in our squad to start Kamara Lawrence and start one of our other forwards and bring those guys in late if we still need to close out the game or we still need to put two in the back of the net. I see a Jamaica team with Bobby Reed and Damari and some of the others to be able to put three goals against Trinidad. Clovers and us, Jamaica being Jamaica, will give up a goal, but I expect us to be able to put 3 goals in the back of the net. Not that this is not a disrespect to Trinidad. Jamaica just has more quality, and we can win the midfield battle and play intelligently. Our back line is strong. We need to be very cognizant of Damon Lowe. Damon Lowe did something very intelligently. He picked up the first yellow against the USA, and he adjusted his game fantastically. No rash tackles. He was very much more timing. He pulled out a couple of tackles to not give put the decision in the referee's hands, and that was good. I will say something about the refereeing, as Katarock was mentioning. This is a fact. You're playing a big team in a packed stadium away from home. Don't complain about the referee. He's not going to give you any chance. He's not going to be in your favor. We just have to be mentally tough about that. The refereeing is not going to go in your favor. When we play the USA and Mexico in these sort of situations, don't complain about the referee. The referee is going to be heavily against the other team.
I agree. I totally agree.
And the calls are going to have to be clearly against us to get cards. That's just mentally toughness. That's just international football. That's just sports. We don't need to sit out there and whine and complain about referee. We need to be mentally tougher than that and not complain about the referee. It's expected that the referee will go against us. Take the right. What we need to do.
I'm not so sure it's fair to say that the referee will go against you. I think what's the referee's job? The referee's job is to enforce the rules of the game, right? Do they make mistakes? Yes, they do make mistakes at times. And I can point out in the Trinidad game yesterday, there was a tackle at one time by the corner flag, and the player ended up.
That should have been
No, if you watch that again, he played all ball. He never touched
but he came from behind the player, and came from behind the player.
But he played all ball. And I think the way the player fell made
Doesn't
it look.
matter if you play hard ball, the rule states
Doesn't
you
matter
can't
if you
attack
play
it
out
from
ball if you
behind.
come from behind.
Can't
Now,
attack it from
I'll give Trinidad a reprieve in this. That tackle on Ivory in the corner, somebody, St. Kitts player should have got carded on that. I'm not sure if he got carded on that.
But it's not. I can't remember if he did. But it's not a red card situation. I don't think. You know. Let's hear what Richie have to say. Richie, could you turn your phone sideways?
Oh, you want me? Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's better that way. Great. What are your thoughts? Welcome to the show. What are your thoughts?
Welcome and good day. I mean, I've seen where maybe I have to be on your side now because I've seen two Jamaican there with Katarock and the other panelists. And you're the only Trinidadian.
Yeah.
And I'm half Trinidadian.
Well,
so,
wonderful.
So I'm trying to make my play the game. Yeah.
So Jamaica have a player that we could have then.
Right. So my grandmother was a Jamaican person, and she met my grandfather on a ship and the east of Trinidad. So hence, that's where my Trinidad background came from.
Wonderful.
Right.
Wonderful.
So it's good. I don't know.
Do you see Katarock's facial expression? Did you see
when they said that?
Yeah, when you said he's not enjoying that
because I had Whisper to start the game, so now I have to get message to Coach Halgrimson that we have a double agent.
I mean, no, but it's just our lineage. We cannot change how we came into this. That is how it is. And we just have to just go forward doing that. I mean, talking about the game. Yes.
Did you play any soccer in your house while Whisper was growing up? I just don't want him to get a flashback when it's time to bury 107 in the net.
I would need to
music.
Check
it's music.
If he's cup tied to the country, there might be a wiggle room there.
Okay. No, I mean he comfortable. I mean people talk as if it was joke that Whisper could have represent 4 different countries. And even when people tried to say that he was going to send to another country in somewhere in the Middle East, I was like, what? That's ridicule, He already had, I'm married to an American. My parents are English background. And I said Trinidad. So why not mention none of these 3 other countries which he has lineage to?
Right.
But you're going to mention a country that he has to stay 4 years or whatever. But that's beyond the point and everything. We're talking about football now, and that's what I'm here for. Let's talk about football.
Did you see the Trinidad game yesterday?
The Trinidad game, I saw the highlights. I didn't see the game in full.
Okay, right, what are your thoughts about what you saw?
Trinidad is far better than I saw them the first time. It's not going to be a walkover for Jamaica, but Jamaica has it. But it's not going to be a walk. In these competitions, you're going to have competitive teams. You're going to have teams that can do the damage that you don't. So you have to be concentrated for 90 minutes. We talk about a player not working hard, working too hard for 70 minutes. And that's football. You're a human being. You're not a robot. You will break. You're coming out of a season. And this is some of the things that we need to do as coaches and as a nation to just make sure that the players can get the right and the correct nutriments, rest going forward in our tournament. You mentioned something also that we have to shuffle with this team when we play again going forward. The reason why we're doing a tournament, we don't want everybody to pop down playing the same team and then everybody pop down all at once and we can't find a team. So you have to shuffle it. So this game where you saw Whisper played twice against Trinidad, he didn't do bad. I mark him up 6 out of 5. And I mark really heavy because it's my son. So I'm going to mark him real heavy. So when people say, why are you giving so long? Because I know that what he can do better and what he needs to get done to get better. And we're talking on international level. Because I'm not grading him just because he's playing here. I'm grading him internationally. So if you're not going to be matching up to what Martinelli is doing, for example, I'm just giving you an example.
Yep.
It doesn't make no sense. I grade you at 8, and you're not doing what these players doing, and I'm watching them day in, day out, and all that. So going forward, the shuffling up of a team, we have to inject some new players for them to come here and just show the coach what they have. And for me, for one, I'm very, very, very proud to make sure that the youth even get a chance. Because if he gets a chance, I know that he will score. Hopefully, because we have to hope first before we enter into reality that it's going to happen. So we hope that he gets a chance, and the reality that he scores when he gets his chance. But going forward, the rest of the team, the defensive unit is good enough for me to go in forward because we know that we are playing attacking football. But while you pick an attacking team, we need to score. I'm not scoring 1 goal and 2 goals is not scoring. Scoring penalties is not scoring. We need to score 3 and 4 goals to show them that this is a attacking team with a lot of firepower, and we need to get this done. And that's what we need to do going forward in this Trinidad game.
Well, it's going to be an interesting game. What I've noticed, the last time Jamaica played Trinidad in Jamaica, 2 games, it ended 0-0 and 1-0. Prior to the 0-0 game, it was predicted by the infamous Katarock that the score would be 7-0.
Yes.
And he really wanted to play us again in the Gold Cup because he thinks he could avenge those results. But what I'm not hearing the same prediction. Now the numbers.
You're not hearing the 7-0.
Yeah, I'm not hearing this with the same conviction. Dwight
I guess he comes back to reality.
Katarock is using some fancy language without numbers. So I'm while there's a better team, while you have a better team.
Shell down. More.
Yeah, but you're not using numbers. I want to hear, is it 7-0? Is it 7-1? Is it 8? Is it 10? Because unless...
Katarock, don't give him any psychological advantage. Don't play into the mind games.
I'm not giving any specifics, right? But let me tell you this. You are the 104th ranked team in FIFA.
Yes, we are aware.
You beat the 139th ranked team.
Okay.
And you came on here this morning acting like that match was equivalent to Jamaica.
No, I'm not. No. I'm not doing that.
Hold on, my brother. Hold on, man.
Okay, sorry.
I listened carefully to you.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You know what in Jamaica them say? Every dog have it there and every puss have it 6 o'clock. You're gonna know what the 6 o'clock is. I promise you. Look, it's tournament football. So are you gonna get 7? I doubt it. Because after getting a substantial lead, I think the coach is gonna rest players. And you know what I mean? The game will be over and then it get disjointed and stuff. So you won't get 7. But you will understand what a mauling is. We do have to pay attention though to goal difference because 3 teams could end up on 4 points, right? And that would mean that then somebody would be left holding the bag. And so goals are of a premium, which is
goal
why.
Difference
and this is one
goal
of the
difference and fair play. Fair play. Right now, Jamaica is sitting -3 on the fair play points.
So
fair
this
play
is one of the disappointments with Trinidad performance yesterday. Towards the end of the game, with the score at 2-0, I think we could have been more professional in terms of trying to score some more goals as a group, as a team, and not just merely as individuals. For that very same reason you just pointed out, that the group could be decided by goal difference. So, and if it's not goal difference, it's fair play, and you just pointed out where Jamaica sits, and so I don't know. For me, look, football matches could go either way. That's why they have to be played. If it was so sure that the result would go one way or the other, then why do we spend money and to play the game? But it's not certain. So I'm just going to be cautious. I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to wait for the game to be played. Jamaica does have a good squad, and we have to be mindful of that. And But so far, Mexico had a good squad in last World Cup as well, right? And we came out with a tie, and that was at a time when we weren't playing football. And Mexico had guys who were playing in Europe, in Spain, and different places. So I don't know. There's a point of reference to suggest that we can get something from the game.
So
I will say this: we can't get too
but
much.
you can get something from the game. You can get a lashing. I
Remember-
want to say this to you: that football is not played on paper; it's played on the field. And Wednesday evening, I want you to remember that when we come on live, right? Thursday morning, just remember those words.
Katarock will be here also, you know. So you have to
You
remember.
can get a lot. Pardon me?
I'm gonna
It
be
can
here
get a lot
also
worse.
because I'm thinking if I was thinking down your part, we could have given USA that 7 because hadn't that penalty scored, USA would have gone in a hole and we could have run on them and the 7 could have dropped on USA, but we didn't do it because football is not play on paper. Secondly, we go back to the refereeing again. Lambert getting a kick in the box anywhere in the chest here, that's supposed to be a card offense. Whether or not it's yellow or red, but it is a card offense. We didn't see no card present to the player and all that. So as he mentioned before, you don't have to worry about the referee when you come on to these games. Just take them out of your mind because you're not gonna get these calls. It's not for you. It's not for you to get. You're just lucky that you even get that penalty.
So as a footballing coach,
Go ahead.
right, and you're a coach of a footballing team, I want to ask you some of the footballing questions about the game, because this is the sane man's show where sane people come to root. When Bobby Reed was on the counter attack and he was tackled and I'm not sure or mauled by the USA defender. In your mind, was that defender the last player? Because remember, I'm live in the stadium, so I mean, we saw some replays, but
no, he wasn't the last player. He wasn't the last player.
No, he wasn't. Okay.
You wouldn't charge him as being the last man. It would be the fact of dangerous play. The boat was too high. It was almost to his chin. It was in his chest. So it would be recorded as dangerous play.
No man, I'm talking.
Bobby Reed.
The Bobby Reed counter attack.
Okay. I thought you were still on Lambert.
The question
situation.
on the Bobby,
No.
The question on the Bobby Reed would be: was it a clear goal scored opportunity? Because they were heading wide, not necessarily in the middle of the pitch. It's the location of the foul. The U.S. player was very intelligent to foul him outside of. Let's say you draw a line up from the outside of the penalty box all the way to the half line. He was outside towards the touch line more than towards that line. So that's why. That's why I said
he wasn't. Maybe because he wasn't in the center of the goal, he was to the side of the goal. Right. Exactly. He wasn't in the center.
Exactly.
I thought a clear goal scoring opportunity.
I thought it should have been at least a yellow because it was a professional foul. It was a clear mauling, as Katarock would say. So I thought it was a yellow, not necessarily a straight red.
Yes, real baller. The wisdom kid is his son. It's Andre's son, so he's all up in his Father's Day pride, and as right he should be. But the three football.
Hey Richie, you understand, right?
I totally do.
I am going. I'm going to go on record. Hold on, Andre.
There's another one. There's another one.
I'm going to go on record as saying this. You see that same feeling you have now? Richie is going to have that feeling on Wednesday. 3 times. So just think about it for a minute.
You know.
Hold on. I wanted to ask you guys about 3 footballing things. I have the footballing people, and then I have Dwight, the ever pessimist, on here. But I want to ask about the third footballing thing. And I'm going to go and leave them saving the best for last. The substitutions of Coach Hargreaves. One, did he wait too long to substitute? And secondly, can you explain from a footballing perspective why would you change Michael Antonio for Corey Burke rather than Shamar Nicholson, who is, in my view, a better hold-up player, um, and might have been able to hold the ball up a bit better, the and relieve some of the pressure that was coming on Jamaica. But share your view on that change. Did Hardgrimson wait too long to make changes, and did he make the right changes? I want to hear your football assessment, not the rum and juice reasoning from me.
Who are you asking the question to?
Both yourself, Richie first, and then yourself.
So for
Okay,
me,
so let me go first, like how you call my name first. So
uh,
as a footballing aspect and then thing, you have to think of it this way. Your Corberg can also hold up play, such as Michaela Anthony. It's not all the time the coach give a directive to a player and him go out there and do what the coach asked him to. Maybe he doesn't feel right the moment he get done. Maybe he didn't get into the atmosphere at the time of the game because he didn't start. He didn't get the levels of it as well. But the changes was too long, I must say, and I've never said about Coach Al Goodson coaching before that he took too long to make a change at that time because USA were just making too much fresh legs coming into the game, and we were getting weary and weary. The more you play and the tired you get, the more your brain do stuff that you don't want to do to the body. The body's not going to react as fast as it used to when it is fresh. So, you make the change. Shamar Nicholson would have been a good change. But Corber came on and he did nothing. How can I say he did? Okay, he did nothing. But that doesn't make him a bad player because he didn't do nothing. He's still a good player, but he didn't do the directive that the coach gave him. So you're going to put on Shamar Anthony. Shamar is also a good player. So what would you say if Shamar came on and didn't do the directive that he did, that what Corber did going forward? So we, as a nation, I think about football. When a team try outsmart you, they're making 4 changes out of their 5 changes to get fresh legs because they're chasing the game. And we need to hold up the ball to burn our time. At that point, it was like, what? We had like 17 minutes there? Or 20 minutes for Corberg just to hold up there and just burn out some time. He didn't do good at it. So, we have to game manage our thing better than that. We have assistants that can touch the coach from the bench and say, Coach, we're going to the final 15 minutes. It's how you assess the game. And he's a professional coach. Some of them you get wrong. Some of them every coach, not all coaches get it right all the time. Some of them may get wrong. So I mean, the Corberg change for me, I think he will work on it, and the changes coming forward in the Trinidad game won't be the same because he has to make an adjustment. So that's my 2 cents.
We also have to be on the front foot against Trinidad. The other question for you: will there be
before you
hydration
ask the
breaks?
question, I wanna respond to the question as well that Katarock asked. I think in listening to a lot of the conversations from the Jamaican fan base and on YouTube, from a lot of the focus for me is in the front part of the pitch with the attackers, whether he made the right changes, who should have come on, or whatever the case may be. We would never have all of the information that the coach is working with at the moment. We'd never have all that information. But from looking at the game, my thoughts were, well, something needed to be done in the right back position on the right side of the pitch. Not necessarily right back, but the right side of the pitch. Because even before the first half, whatever joy America was having, it was coming down that side. The crosses were coming in from that side. So I was looking at the game and I was expecting that something would happen, some adjustment would happen on that side of the pitch, and I don't think it happened, right? And ultimately the goal came from a mistake on that side of the pitch, and that's where I thought the adjustment could have happened. But I don't have all of the information he is working with, so he would know better as to why he didn't make an adjustment there. We know he's a quite capable coach, so I'm not second guessing the decisions that he made, but what I saw from watching the game on television was that there was a problem on that side of the pitch.
Okay, and gents, remember we're on a time constraint, so I'm going to ask you to keep your answers tight. And to the question, don't be like Katarock, don't ramble. Right, you changed for Antonio to Corey Burke. You agree with it, or you didn't agree with it, or can you explain it?
I agree with it. Reason why Antonio's legs were done, and Antonio was working it. You saw Antonio coming back for corner kicks. You saw Antonio chasing from one end of the pitch to do the zonal press, the zonal high press. So Antonio was done. What Corey Burke brings, he brings better coverage on the defensive side of the pitch, especially on defending set play pieces in our own half, in our own third. So, and Corey can hold up the ball if required, but in terms of preserving a 1-0 lead and getting defensive work across all 3/3 of the pitch, Corey Burke does that a little bit better than Shamar. Shamar is the type of player. You get it out to him, he's gonna latch onto it. He's gonna get out wide and take some chances. He doesn't do this. I won't say he doesn't do the same amount of defensive work. He doesn't do the same quality of defensive work that Burke does. And also, if you're trying to do a high press, Burke does that very well. If you're trying to press and force some mistakes. So I think from a tactical standpoint, it was the type of player that you're looking at, not necessarily the 1-for-1 switch.
Okay. And people are having heart attacks because Katarock is the host, so I have do as I say, not as I do.
Could I ask a question? Could I ask a question? Since the three of you support the Jamaican team, let me ask you a question. I don't know if you noticed, but my opinion is that if you look at the English national team, every major tournament that they go into, I think the fans and the media put them under enormous amount of pressure. That makes it difficult, I think, for them to be successful. That's just my opinion. Could be wrong about that. But and I see a similar type of pressure is being placed on the Jamaican national team. Do you think that affects the team, can affect the team?
Okay.
Because
I'm gonna hold that question, Andre, because we were on direct footballing questions with the footballing minds that are here. So I'm gonna hold that question. I'm gonna take that up to about the pressure, the game things. Right. I wanted to ask, what was your assessment of the central midfield? Sitting in the stadium, it seemed like we were being sliced and diced in the middle of the park. What's your assessment of the central midfield from a football coaching perspective? The combination of Lambert and Latibadir. That's one. And when you mentioned the right back issue, could a change have been to bring on John Russell into the central midfield and change and revert Latibadir to his now accustomed right back position? Over to you, gentlemen. Richie, want to go first, and then Andre?
How about Bobby Reid, the right back position that he plays for Fulham? You have to know the players that we have in this camp. I do agree that we have a right back problem. That's why I was looking for a player like Tyreek Zimenez to be in this squad. So, going forward, we are thinking about 10 years after. Who's going to have that right back position? We have to be grooming players from now to be good. So if you're going to take one player to groom in the forward position from now, and then you have to look back and where we have a problem most. It's not attacking, it's in defense. So right back problem has been a problem that we have been having for a very, very long time, and we need to sort it out. Before I see most teams that plays Jamaica, that's where they attack us from, brother. They attack us from the right back position, and most of the goals we score on Jamaica is from that position. So, we need to sort it out, and sort it out fast, real quick.
So when you look at, for me, if you look at the left side of the pitch to deal with the outside, on the Mari Gray was getting back and helping the outside back on that side of the pitch, who eventually got taken off in the game, but he had support because Damari does that in England. He gets back, he helped. I'm not so sure if the problem was the right back problem or if it was he wasn't getting the support. I think there was an imbalance there, right? I think in any minute.
You're being politically correct, or you're saying that Leon Bailey didn't track back and put in the defensive work
Well,
because Leon Bailey was on the right side, right?
wasn't Liam Bailey playing as a forward in a 4-4-2? So it wouldn't have been his job to track back.
Track back.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been his job.
His job. Okay.
Let me just answer this before going further. I'm not saying our right back is not young enough. Our right back is young, but going forward with this world of football that we are playing now, if the right backs we are playing are vulnerable or they are not getting it, we have to change it and use other right backs that we think that will get it. We can't continue using these right backs and we're losing games because we're using the same right back and they keep on getting beat the same way. We can't do that. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just not saying that they are young or can't learn. You know, I mentioned Tariq Zimini because, you know, he was in the team before as a right back. So I mentioned him. It's just not, I'm not saying that. And there are far more right backs who are there that can be called up to the team as well. Yeah. But we just talk about the ones that was there.
Yeah. But Richie, I want to ask you, isn't Tariq Zimenez playing as a forward in Belgium?
He plays as forward in Belgium, and so does Bobby Reed play as a right back in Fulham. So, and what does he play for Jamaica? You know, in international football, it's different. It's different. You know, they train you. They train you at when you're a footballer. When you're a footballer, and you know that we need a goalkeeper then. Make go away as far as the goalkeeper. And you know that you can catch two ball or whatever. You're gonna go in the goal, you know. They know that you are the one that's supposed to be going in the goal because there's no more changes on that. The fact that I'm saying that you have to learn to play more than one position. You can play one position, you know. A lot of people talk about the fact of Whisper being young at 17. How come you're not talking about a 17-year-old playing all three positions up the top? Talk about that as a person, you know, is that a lot of 17-year-olds can play the all three attacking positions.
Okay. But both of you gentlemen, I see we've lost Richie's video. Hope he didn't have a bomb. The central midfield, and I would love to hear Richie on it and then ask you, Andre, do you detect a problem with Jamaica's central midfield? How would you rate Jamaica's central midfield? Is that an area you think Trinidad could exploit?
In possession or out of possession?
The defensive midfield. The defensive midfield pairing.
Look, you have to be able, and you know, I saw it a little bit in the Qatar game as well. I think you've got to get close to people, right in the middle of the pitch, and make it difficult for them to play. If players are getting space and able to turn and exploit that space, then there would be a problem. So for me, I think getting close to players and making sure that they're not able to play forward essentially, or to stop that as much as you could, I think would be the job of the guys in that area of the pitch. And I think I would say that in that particular game, Jamaica could have been better in that area. Could have been better. So, but for me, that game, it's almost like the problem was what I was seeing, what other people would have seen other things. The right side of the pitch, you were almost sure that a goal would come from that side. From watching it on television, you would have had a different view from in the stadium, and other people obviously would have different opinions. I think the right side of the pitch was the problem. And so it is my hope that the right side of the pitch behave in the same way. I'll put Levi Garcia down that side if it's me and see how that works.
Hearing a comment here from Jade Green that says, "True Bobby defend. The only issue, Bailey missed the chance, and Mariappa was on too long. Then Joel and Lambert defensive, so we're not going to dominate, but it's hard to score against Jamaica." The USA did carve out a few clear-cut chances, which they failed to put away, and in my estimation,
Sorry.
sitting there in the stadium, we were being sliced and diced in the middle of the park, and it looked to me, that's what it looked like, a fairly average CDM. Yes, he had a better game than he normally does for Jamaica in Kevin Lambert, so I'm going to give him that. He played out of his skin, but when you assess it, it was just really an ordinary CDM performance. Yes, he got a penalty for the second game running. I worry when my CDM ends up in the penalty box, because that says something to me about the shape of the team and the covering of the backline responsibility. And we have a right back, a center back turned right back. Now, I don't want to use the word masquerading, now performing as a box to box or a sort of defensive thing.
Breaking up.
I'm breaking up.
Or it's
So
me.
Richie, I'm
Maybe it's
asking you to
me.
comment on I'm asking you to comment on the central midfield.
Yeah, you're correct. He was too far ahead for the penalty, because if we have a break, there is nobody to stop the play. If they had just get a toe poke out and then they end up on a break on us, there would be nobody there to defend. So you're right. The CDM position, it can be a lot better. I had no problem with Lambert. He played a good game for me. I had no problem with him at all. But there are a lot of places on the pitch that playing cohesively and playing together as a team, players will cover for each other.
Richie, there's a feedback. There's a feedback when you talk.
There's a feedback. I don't know what's going on here. Let me just check out and check in. You guys continue. Let me just check out and check in back, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Katarock, I want to say you just had a comment up again. Look, professional footballers are human beings and they make mistakes. There are very good moments. The better ones do it consistently, but they do make mistakes. And a penalty was missed in the game, and it seemed as though the fan base is unable to move on from that. Look, you all have a very good player. I have heard Unai Emery refer to him to Bailey as a world-class player. Unai Emery, right? And that's his opinion. And whether he's doing it because he plays for him at the moment and he want to say that, or whether it's he truly believes that, he said that publicly. And I think we've been on and on about the fact that he missed a penalty. I don't think that would.
We haven't been on and on. I was saving that for the last.
And I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that
no, there are questions to be asked about that penalty.
He's a top player, right? He's a top player. He should have scored the penalty, yes, but he's a top player. He made a mistake, and we go again. I mean, you all could continue to beat him until Thursday if you want. That's fine. I wouldn't object to that. But
so how you find all the way reach Ali and Bailey? We are talking about central midfield. You reach Ali and Bailey.
No, because I saw a message. Yes, I was referring to a message. If I'm worried,
no, so I want to hold the Leon Bailey discussion until Richie joins us back again, because I do have some serious questions to ask about that. So he's answered the central midfield. You have also answered the central midfield question. And the truth is that the CDM and the right back are our two Achilles heels. And I keep saying this, and I will keep saying this. When I look forward to the day when Coach Hargrimson can convince Isaac Hayden and Lewis Baker to pin their self to the Jamaican national team, because I believe those are the two players who, for me, would immediately transform the central midfield of Jamaica. That's it, clear. People hate when I talk about Grant, but I'm not. I don't care. I have not replaced Anthony Grant with a competent, consistent CDM who understands the role of a CDM. No one is talking in the middle of the park. I don't see Kevin Lambert talking. I don't see Joel Latibeaudiere talking. I see Joel Latibeaudiere doing a lot of defensive work, but no one is talking and holding that shape of the team and protecting that back four. I have a question about what was the role of the CDM in should he have picked up the player coming in? I don't know, from a footballing perspective.
Footballers sometimes decided.
Dr. Felix Grant will reach that every conversation until we get a competent stadium. But no, don't talk. Good.
Footballer decided in moments sometimes, and I think. Look, you can see a totally different performance on Wednesday from the Jamaican team because the coach obviously would have reviewed the game and would have looked at things and say that he needed to change this or change that. One or two things probably is going to change. At the end of the day, that game is gone. That game is gone. That game is behind you. You got a point from it. It could have been 0 point. You could have been bottom of the table with St. Kitts Nevis. You have a point. You're tied with America. You're on points, and you feel pretty good about the game on Wednesday, right?
I do feel good.
Yeah. So
there are some things, and I said
there's not too much changes could happen now. He has to work with the group that he picked.
Yeah, it's the 23 players that he picked.
Right. He has to work with the group that he picked. And
so
go ahead.
So Pagan, I don't have no boy, so I don't know what you're talking about. But I want to say this, because I want to key footballing things I want to answer about. Right? I know I do the fan banter thing, and we did that earlier, but I want to say footballing thing. Amari Bell, who has been playing like a machine, literally broke down on the field. Could anybody in the chat tell me, because we were in the moment, was he tackled or did he just break down? Did he just hit that brick wall? Because he played almost every single minute for Luton Town, including the playoff, a semi-final, extra time, and a final.
What was the temperature at that time?
The temperature?
Yeah.
Yes, I had my thermometer out and I was testing the temperature. The temperature in the game at that time was everything did hot within the air.
Right. These guys don't play in this type of temperature regularly. Right? Most of the year the temperature is not what it produces here in the summertime in most states. So he could have had something to eat that didn't agree with him, something to drink. There's a lot of things that could have gone wrong that sometimes we don't know about, and I'm saying that because sometimes you have, why did he come off? Why did this guy come off? I can tell you in my with my boys, sometimes they come off the pitch and I can't understand why they come off, and then you speak to them after and, well, I wasn't feeling well. I ate something that so we don't know sometimes, right? What is taking place, but you pointed it out that there's a problem in the middle of the field, there's a problem on the right side of the pitch that needs to be resolved, and I think you're thinking in terms of personnel that it should be this person versus that person, but it could be as simple as understanding roles and responsibilities.
So I'm not saying a particular person. What I'm saying is that the CDMs that we had. So we have tried now 14 CDMs since the team ostensibly moved on from Anthony
14,
Grant.
you said?
14.
Wow, yeah.
14 different players have played in that role.
Do you know what?
And let me be clear. Let me clarify. Some of it by necessity. So when we took our all local based squad to like Cameroon and to play against Trinidad and Tobago, you would have had to bring new players, right? But in others, so you want me to name them? So we had Kevin Stewart, who we started with, aka Dr. Glass, who is a very good CDM. Stewart is as brittle as they are, and he remains injured. Kevin Isaacs, Kevin Lambert, Fabian McCarthy, Damian Lowe. I'm just going through them in my head. Who else did we try in there? Recently, Joey Latimer there, Jonathan Russell. Come on, people. Give me. Who has played CDM? Jordan Cousins has played in that role against Catalonia. I reached 8. We in amongst the younger ones, Delano Splat came on against Trinidad and Tobago, and it's 9, and I'm gonna get the rest of the players as and how we have tried them out as they come to my head. So I've taken 9 off the top of my head.
What is the profile? What is the profile of a CDM that you think a Jamaican CDM should be like?
So I would like a CDM that sits in front of the back 4 and protects the back 4, plugs up the passing lanes in the middle, right? I'm not so much wanting a CDM to appear in the, and I'm giving Kevin Lambert his credit. Twice now he's appeared in the opposition box. You would not find that from Grant. He's not going to do that, right? But with that comes, were they players behind him taking up that role? I didn't see that. So in the center of the park, right? And I'm gonna get to all the names of those players who have been in that central midfield. Angling was called in there. Angling. Duckland, you can be idiotic. We're talking about players who currently represent a club and play football, because I've told you that if you're not playing for a club, you don't belong near my national team. So Peter Cargill is dead. Please do not disrespect his name, brother. That man is a legend to us. I don't even joke like that. Travis Paseo, Kevin Lambert had the best game that he's had for Jamaica. But if you look overall, it was just a fairly ordinary CDM game. So nobody is giving him a hard time because he's from the USL. I'm trying to recall the number of players that have played since 2022 to now in the CDM role, and I've just come up with Angling. And others will pop back into my mind as I think to work with them.
Look,
yes,
it was interesting to see the US sticking to the passing and moving game for the entire match. Yes, even during the period when we overran them. So the extent that the US had many more good chances.
And Carl Wallace, Carl would have seen it as he did. He wasn't in our section. Even though we tell him for coming to our section, because the man can't tell us say you can't sit down amongst the yard man them. Some Uncle Sam people that have to move about to them cheers. Big up Fabi. But they did play a game. The Uncle Sam did play and stick to their game, and we tried to defend stoutly, as you do. And we came within 2 minutes of regulation time. That's not. There's nothing to be ashamed about.
Yeah, there's
I don't
nothing
think-
shabby about that for real.
right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the defending champs. There's nothing shabby about that.
You know that. So I want to talk about the penalty, and we only have a couple
We
more
have,
minutes.
I probably have about 5 more minutes. Okay, Katarock?
Yes, I do as well.
Yeah.
My host.
What is your take? What is your take on the penalty? I know you've said a lot about the penalty already, and I can't see what
So-
else could really be said about the penalty.
So the penalty,
Mhm.
in my opinion,
Uh-huh.
is the example of what is wrong with the team. It exposed
How so?
some cracks. The person who moved to the penalty when the penalty was won was Michael Antonio. That's what I saw in the thing. I don't know what you saw on TV. I'm going to say, Michael Antonio stepped forward to take the penalty, and something was said, and Bailey took the ball and moved to the penalty spot.
But could it have?
Michael Antonio dropped his hands.
Mhm.
From where I'm sitting, and again, I'm going to yield to those who were looking at TV because we sort of shook his head and then took his place on the 18-yard box.
It could have been, the conversation could have been one that reminded Antonio that suppose Bailey was the appointed, some teams appoint a penalty kicker and some teams allow the players on the pitch to decide. So it could have been a situation where he was being reminded that, hey, I'm the penalty, I was assigned the duty to kick penalties. Is that possible?
It's possible.
I saw the moment that you're talking about. I know the moment you're talking about.
But then I saw the coach at one of the breaks having a little remonstration with Bailey. But I don't know if it's because he was holding on to the ball too long or because of what happened to the penalty. I can't tell because we can't hear, right? But we just saw
calling his name, right? I think he was calling. I think that he flashed across the screen at that moment, and you could see he.
Yeah,
you could hear him.
Something wasn't right. Something wasn't right. Something
But
wasn't
I
right.
don't think it. I didn't think it had to do with the penalty. Look, it happens all the time, right?
But what do you think about the people who said, okay, you can miss a penalty, but the rebound miss, it's gonna go down in history. That is, and fans share with me. That rebound miss was now worse than the Javon East miss, and worse than the.
But we can't
Bobby
do
Reed
anything
miss.
about that. What's happened going forward, he has to correct that. He has a chance to correct it. Could you imagine what would happen if he's still thinking about that PK miss? He'd never be ready to score the next goal.
No, but he I think also how it changed the complexion of the game is that he kept trying to overcompensate and try too hard. He wanted to beat every single player on the field and put the ball in the back of net. And it led to some frustration on Damari Gray's path. There was one particular play when he had beaten 2 or 3 players and he could have simply just laid the ball on to Gray, and he didn't. And there was another time when he had it, and then Gray was just signaling like, "I am free, all alone on the left wing touch line," and he just put his head down and barreled in. And so it affected his own play. Then because of that, it affected the play of others. So that's what I'm saying. It was a seminal moment in the game, and we can't hide from that. It's unfortunate. I wish him. I know he will come back and try and do better for us. Yeah.
In your final game against St. Vincent, St. Kitts and Nevis, sorry. At the end of the day, these guys are competitive. These things happen all the time, and it's unfortunate that he missed it. If he had scored it, yes. Even when the US scored, it would have just made the game 2-1, and you still would have walked away with 3 points. But if we look at it now, it makes the group exciting. It makes the group exciting.
There's something here. Did you notice this? I'm bringing up the comment by Clayton Mirage.
Yeah, you are told not to stare at the spot you want to go. He was staying there the whole time. No, I didn't observe that. I didn't observe that.
Okay. And Adrian Armstrong is correcting me. He's saying it's just something he's done from his very first game. Colin Quest, he's the man.
Yeah.
No, Colin. So I would start him against Trinidad and Tobago. But if I don't see a change in his approach, then but we have come to the end. Pardon me?
Who did you say you would start against?
Leon Bailey.
Yeah, I mean you have to.
Tobago.
Bailey has not done anything to be out of the starting lineup. I mean, he missed a PK. Really big players have done that in important
tournaments. And it's starting with the Divine Ponytail. You remember him, the Italian, Roberto Baggio.
Baggio. Yeah.
Divine Ponytail. So many have missed. Gareth Southgate missed a serious penalty for England. He's come back to the England camp. So there's no shame in missing a penalty. I just would like to get to the bottom of what happened there, because I can't think of Bailey. Demarai Gray takes set plays for Everton, and he took a set play earlier. So he, to me, would have been another name right up there. But it is what it is. So we look forward to Wednesday. We have a couple of more minutes until the end of the show. I think about 3.
No, we actually have 1.
We have 1.
Yeah.
So we're going to ask you to give us your prediction for Wednesday. Now go around the thing. Don't put no shark and bake. Just give us the shark and bake steel pan prediction for Wednesday.
It's bake and shark, by the way, not shark and bake.
It's like the curry chicken and chicken curry debate.
So there's the time, Katarock. I've got to jump out. So
you're not giving us your prediction?
Oh, my prediction?
Yes.
Sean Sutherland says 6. I don't know which direction. I think the game is going to be competitive. The game is going to be competitive. It's a rivalry, a healthy one. If I predicted a 1-1 tie in the last game, this one is going to have a result. And if Jamaica doesn't get a little more fluency in the game, I think we can walk away with 3 points. The team is on a good momentum.
Okay. I thank you, and
it could be another one.
Wrap it up. And you will be in the stadium on Wednesday.
Still
far away from Katarock as you can possibly be.
Yeah,
because the man that will tell you, I am not a normal ultra. I am at the real deal.
I don't want Katarock to throw his beverage on me.
Boy, I tell you some boy, the US man never went to your brother.
Remember, my friend, US is a country of laws. But I gotta run, okay?
Yeah, man. So I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. I look forward to talking tomorrow with you. I'm heading now to St. Louis, and we'll be here same place, same time. Thank our friend Andre, supporter of the Soca Warriors and a proud father, as his son scored the only goal that he will score in this tournament. But he has got his name in folklore. Thank you, Andre. You can jump up when you do. I'm gonna just chop it up with the fans, and I have like about 2 minutes left. All
right,
Stunner, we're yeah, man. Respect. We're not drawing this game There'll be no Victoria's Secret business going on. There will be a result. Somebody is going to feel it. And I believe that some of the players are going to get things. So before we go into tomorrow, I want you to tell me, would you start Adrian Mariappa against Trinidad, or should Deshaun Bernard come into the side? What changes would you make in the center of the park? Would you try the Russell Lambert combination and put Latibedir at right back, or you stick with the combination? And who would be the front three? Tomorrow we'll talk about that. Thank you to Manning's man. He is over there in St. Louis already. They went on a chartered flight. Man like me, the oligarch, we have to take a first class, but we're on a commercial plane. We're on a private jet. So we'll be making the trod today, God sparing our life, over to St. Louis. I want to thank Chicago, all the Chicago people who have been most hospitable. The Chi-Town ladies, everything. The big and the small one, them. The oversized Mampi and the Kukunkung. Yeah, man. Nikai said next right to start. So we'll talk about that. And we look forward to seeing whether if Rupert, aka Ethan Pinnock, joins us for the game against Trinidad. And we look forward for good vibes between two Caribbean rivals on Wednesday. The man them on the rock, please. I mean, after I was feeling so good about the result and the whole vibes, big up the whole section 231. Carl Wallace, Reggae Boyz supporter, they never sit with Mark, AQ, whole I man there. And the ladies, them and their children, they brought them out there, and you know what I mean. I'm gonna leave you with First God says 2-1 to the boys, you know. Big up R&R. First responder said Mariappa did okay. We saw him miss a couple of headers, you know what I mean. But we all have our own views. I'm gonna take you out in a different way this time. But we're all confident for our Reggae Boyz. We congratulate the players, congratulate the coach, Coach Hallgrimson, on getting a positive result, even though a draw, but getting the first point, and that means we're still in with a shout. But the man them for the island, please, me beg, just hold it down. We are begging, hold it down. And I never turn on phone today and see boy 7 get shot in a Westmoreland. It's not nice, man. We are the best little country in the world. Let me go do better now. Together, you see it. Man, them I drop the score. El Granito said 3-1. Dr. Hero said 4-1. You know what I mean? But to all the man, I know man normally say it's over and it's out when you get to this part of the show. But I want to leave you with what occurred in section 231 on Saturday night, right before Andre Blake made that spectacular double save. Mark, our good brethren in the chat, stood up and said, Ultra boss, what we are going to do? And we all started and said, old pirates, yes, they rabbi, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pits, but my hands were made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption song. Redemption song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. You've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? They're all I ever had. Redemption song. Always proud to be a Jamaican, always proud to be a supporter of the Reggae Boyz.
Jamaica's Reggae Boyz will battle old rivals Trinidad and Tobago's Soca Warriors in two.
Boom, check it out, I don't know it's Jason. I'm a represent for I Am Sure Sports. For the latest news and updates, check out I Am Sure Sports. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe and share. Jason representing I Am Sure. I Am Sure Sports.
What's up, baby?
Go check and see.